Good evening. This is A Mind of Valor, and my name is Westerfield Tolbert. Thank you for joining us on this 20th day of this 30-day challenge. If you have been joining us every day thus far, then you would know from the beginning. I have stated that for 30 days I would be going live every day, at least once a day, for the purpose and intent of strengthening my ability to go online and do these live broadcasts and create a consistent flow on this particular platform under the A Mind of Valor brand. There's already other existing social media that exists on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, but I needed to grow this YouTube channel and create more access to build community in this space. So, if you've been joining us, then over the last couple of days, you would know we've talked about resolve, operations, language, love, attitude, ambition, vices, vision, physiology and mindset, orientation, responsiveness, relationships, reciprocity, among different other things, terms, and how they tie into the 25 contiguous valor principles that I keep coming back to. And its purpose and intent, which is to help us focus on asking better questions as we engage in our work, as we engage in community and with our family and friends on a regular basis. So, thank you and welcome. For today, our discussion is leading me to two more terms off the list, and I often group these two together. They are unique because they stand to really, well, the words are attention and awareness. Attention and awareness. I took a couple notes on both of them, so I'll start there just for us to consider. With regard to attention, we attention is what we pay attention to. It's like the way we selectively narrow our focus and our conscious thought and receptivity, where we this is where we are receiving information from. Is this showing realization, perception, or knowledge? It implies that one has become alive to something, and you are on the alert. I pulled those from Merriam-Webster Dictionary, and also to expound upon those definitions of what is controlling you or your environment, or is a initial question that I wanted to ask and be considered. So, of what is controlling you in your environment? What are the things that govern your decision making? The things in our space and time that we are aware of often are the very things that are governing our decision making, or the way we line up our patterns of behavior if we were to be observant of ourselves. So, for example, this is a light example. If I have to work days because I have children and I have to be with my children at night, so I cannot work a night job or a third shift job, that is an aspect or a detail that is controlling my decision making or controlling a part of my life. Or if I have some condition that may be health related that prohibits me from doing certain types of work, those are also things that are from our environment and from our experience that are controlling the type of decisions that we make and that they govern our decision making. For also, when we're considering awareness, something that we have to keep the top of our mind is the context of the situation that you find yourself in the space and time. Context is supremely important because, among other things, it frames the experience for you, right? So you know what is above you, below you, around you, what makes up that setting or that experience, or what makes up the tone in the air around that particular experience. So the context is how it is framed for you to understand, and how you frame it, how you're framing it for yourself, and how you are receiving and interpreting that information from the environment. What are some of the greatest influences around you? And how much are you allowing fear to govern your choices? What are some of the greatest influences around you? When you are stepping into your space, it's important that you recognize what in that space has influence over the decisions that you make. What in your environment has a say so in your decision making or your ability to reason at a high level? It is best to know these things before we go into the decision making process. Because if we don't know what or how we're being influenced, then we will not be fully aware of how our decisions are being processed. And it goes back to asking ourselves better questions and tougher questions to understand how we're being influenced, what we're allowing to influence us, and if those things, can they be shifted? Is it necessary to change, or what does it look like to pivot with this new information that you've been given? How much are you allowing fear to govern your choices? Another one of those things. It could be fear of particular outcomes. It could be fear of uh, people in our environments, or how certain um, reactions or certain actions may cause reactions. Fear can even be us afraid of how we will look like on the other side of certain challenges, or the consequences of our choices. So if you're someone who subconsciously is afraid of achieving at a high level or afraid of success, it will limit the type of choices that you're making, because the right choice will move you into a space and time that would elevate you. It would bring attention to you. It would bring a heightened sense of awareness to something that you're doing or you as a person. And if you're not someone who's inclined to have that type of attention, you may sabotage yourself just to avoid being in the spotlight. Also, it's important to consider changes happening in the environment and current trends around you. Current trends such as changes with technology and AI, for example. If you're someone who works in a creative field, for example, you have to be very aware of how the environment is changing around you and the type of skills that you'll need to increase in order to still be competitive in a creative environment with the changes relevant to AI. And this also goes down the creative pipeline with copywriters, musicians, writers, anyone who is producing something that is supposed to be unique, because technology is circumventing that uniqueness through algorithms. And we've spoken about algorithms on previous episodes, just in our inputs and have in outputs. So better controlling what you're putting into your mind, what you're putting into your body, your nutrition, the type of things you're nourishing your brain with, your thoughts, your habits, everything from the music that you're consuming to the food that you're consuming. It all works to um, either increase or decrease the the potential for healthy outcomes. And there's even something that I was working through yesterday when we were talking about the previous subject, and how even our genes are expressed differently when we are moving in a healthy way, and if we are nurturing our physiology in our environment. Epigenetics would say that our bodies would express a different outcome. Our genes would mature and develop in a different way if the environment is different, if the nutrition is different. And it goes to just the idea of what are we fully, what at a high level are we capable of producing if we are doing all the necessary things to nourish our mind, to nourish our body, to nourish our spirit, our energy level. Who could we be? What could we produce? When I read the passage a couple of days ago, there was a line in there that said to the effect of, I want to see what a fighting you looks like, not just one that um, sat by idly and allowed decisions to be made for you, right? What does it look like to not just function at a high level, but to be working so that everything around you is also evolving its processes to produce the best possible outcome, and the systems around you are evolving and the strategies also evolving so that you are constantly one step away from the next best possible choice. Also, when going back to the subject of awareness, being aware of changes in our physiology. Again, with like topics such as love, when we enter spaces, we want our bodies and our frequency to be going higher, out further, deeper. We want our waves to be echoing in every direction. And that's positive, and that's a loving energy. But we have to also be aware of when we enter spaces around certain people and ideas and environments, how our physiology shifts. How we may get goosebumps on our body, our hair may stand up, just we may get a sensation in our stomachs or somewhere in our bodies. When we receive certain information, it may make us feel tight in the chest or something to that effect. But just being aware of those changes and how we're being communicated to from on a sensory level. And with regard to attention and awareness and goals and just a long term, setting a longer term course for the things that you want to accomplish, is being aware of the time things will actually take to accomplish, and setting realistic expectations in your mind. It's not saying that you shouldn't be dreaming astronomically big, but it's saying that you are setting realistic expectations so you know that you can't feasibly condense a 12-year project into 30 days without, sacrificing some type of quality or the end product. But realizing that if you plan, you might be able to take that 12-year and condense it to 8 or 10 or 9. But that's with you constantly making an effort to evolve your processes and looking at systems, looking at the design and everything that goes into having a healthy thinking. Healthy thinking allows for better decision making. Better decision making allows you to pivot when necessary. It allows you to be able to recognize the resources and opportunities around you, and also access those resources and opportunities. When you're looking at the systems and the way that you're organized in the operation, having your processes line up, and that they're congruent, and that they are written into existence in such a way that as things develop and as things change, you're able to receive that information, properly process it, implement what is required, compartmentalize the other things, but also then be able to prioritize what's compartmentalized so you can reach back into that storehouse of ideas and opportunity and then put them, I guess, on the list of soon to be implemented. So there's a constant funnel of innovation taking place. Being aware is a learned behavior. Part of it is just us deciding what we want to value. Part of what we value, we will pay attention to in our environment, and therefore we will be aware of it. Another side of it is choosing what, outside of our particular values, what needs to be, what attention needs to be placed in a certain area or a certain place, space, and time. So the attention and awareness go together so that we know how to strategically place questions and learning along the way so that we can improve our processes, so we can improve our decision making. The quality of our thinking will improve, and over time, we can take those quality decisions and improve the environments. In a nutshell, we are evolving in real time and giving ourselves the permission to evolve in real time, with a high degree of consideration to how the language that we use affects not only ourselves, but the people that we are engaging in these environments and these changes with, what type of attitude that we are bringing to the table when we are dealing with folks in community. And when we're in community with people, what we are choosing to pay attention to from that community. Are we going to be receptive to new differences, or are we going to see them as opportunities or things that will be stumbling blocks when working in community? So just the attitude that we bring to those spaces, our awareness will help line up our vision with the necessary work, help orient us to the necessary work that will be required to achieve said vision. And taking it on a daily basis, being intentional, and paying attention to the things that will draw us closer to a high energy, high state of ready to engage, and staying clear of those things that will take our attention and awareness and put them into things that are coordinated but not towards the end goal or the overall strategy. So at that, this is attention and awareness. This is day 20, and this is a Mind of Valor by Westerfield to Tolbert. Wow, 20 days in so far. We plan to go 30 days. And, when we set out to challenge ourselves in the beginning, we only knew that on the first day, the initial conversation was really one that took place by accident. I just was listening to I think Euphoria, or one of the early Kendrick disses, and I was overwhelmed with feeling the need to contribute something to the conversation. And so I just went live on YouTube. I was like, oh man, I gotta say something. So that's what the first video was. And it was after that first video where I said to myself, I want to do this every day for the next 30 days. And I'm going to commit to the process of doing it every day for the next 30 days and see what can be produced over time. And so then day 2 came and we pulled a different subject matter. Day 3 came, day 4, so on and so forth. And so we are working every day towards coming to a congruent message that has staying power and impact and will allow us to build community. So, but really, once I've gone through these first 25 contiguous principles, I intend to go back over them and review the response and review the delivery and pull more detail into every single one of those subtopics, and then do follow-up episodes on those different subtopics. Probably do that once or twice until I have a really strong, concrete message and delivery for these particular issues and subjects. And then following that, start to bring in different candidates to have interesting interviews with and conversations. And then after that, I also want to do a series specifically on mental models, where we're just going through one mental model per video and just talking about how it applies, how it can be applied, and how we can use it to better filter our decision making and increase our question asking. So we'll work on that tomorrow. When you see me again on May 21st, it will be my birthday. So happy birthday to me. A little pre-birthday woohoo. And yeah, good luck. God bless. And I will speak to you tomorrow.